What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of F1 22, my team career mode, 4 days in a row. How long can we keep the streak going? I'm hoping to do an entire season, like back to back to back to back to back to back times 22. So let's see if that can come to fruition. Of course, your support has been the driving factor in me making these episodes so quickly. So thank you guys so much for all the comments, the suggestions you guys have been making. I'm, rapidly expanding my knowledge of the game through things that you guys are telling me, and it's great. So you guys are all my engineers, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please leave a like and subscribe. We're so close now to 700,000. I think only 2,000 away. We're nearly at 698 at the time of me recording this. So thank you guys so much. I can't emphasize how grateful I am for your guys' support during this time. Anyway, let's put some upgrades on this car. Major weight, what am I talking about? Major drag reduction upgrade going on the car. This is a very draggy car, and that drag update will go a long way towards fixing that. Now, we went to level 5 acclaim in the last episode. We can now sign our first secondary sponsor to the car. We're going to order by weekly income and see what we can safely get each week. Of course, the gold bonus being high, that'll also be a nice help. Oh my word! That's a new one that we've seen in the F1 games. Complete a race without corner cutting. That is impossible, but we're going to go for it. I'm Tiametmarduk. I need to be a better driver, and having that extra weight on my shoulders of not cutting a single corner in a race is going to be impossible for me. But this is what I need. I need it to drive better in co-op. I need it to minimize those time penalties. So let's see if I can manage to do that. We've got the Miami Grand Prix coming up in this episode. The major drag reduction upgrades failed. Ah, that's annoying. We could have really done with that because Miami's got some really long straights. So, yeah, we're heading into the weekend now. Unfortunately, it looks like no upgrades are being brought to this race. At least I don't think so. So it's going to be tough. Before we get to the Grand Prix weekend itself, we've got an autocross event for the supercars. And to be honest, this one's my favorite. I really enjoy this one. It's like an obstacle course. We've got to get through. You can't corner cut. And you can't hit any bollards or anything, otherwise that'll cost you time in ways of a time penalty. So if we beat this, we get 100k cash and then 1,000 acclaim. So let's hopefully do this cleanly. No, we've hit a cone. We've hit a bollard, and that's going to cost us 5 seconds. And I've also gone straight on at the hairpin, which is absolutely lovely. I have done this before, and I have got gold. I did this in my own time at some point. So I think if we drive perfectly for the rest of this little challenge here, we might still be able to get gold, but it's going to be awfully close. I believe I managed to beat gold by like 10 seconds last time. So with that mistake and with the cone hit, it's going to be very close. As we head onto the back straight now, as we get under the underpass, McLaren Artura, it's a very fast automobile, but things tighten up on this back end of the straight. You can see just how much of a chicane it turns into. But this is really cool. This is my favorite one, like I said. It just adds a completely different dynamic to the F1 game and brings a bit of a fun factor. Up to the line, we just miss out on gold. I think 1.6 seconds away, so we get silver, and I'm going to call it there. And here is the reason why we got silver. Just clipping that cone right there. I probably nicked it with my wing mirror. That's how close it was. Oh, actually, maybe I got it on the front end. Never mind. We got close. We gave it our best, but we miss out on the big prize on this occasion. I wonder if that's going to cost me for the corner cutting sponsor goal, because technically I didn't really make the corner. Either way, we're heading into this weekend with some major parts in development. One, of course, has already failed. But then the second one is going on in time for the Spanish Grand Prix. That's a major front downforce upgrade we've targeted just a couple of minutes ago at the start of this episode. So no movements for us. McLaren move forward. Mercedes bring some big upgrades heading into Miami, and I think that's kind of similar to what they did in real life here. At least they were decent, I think, in porpoising, but then it turned to crap by the end of the weekend, so that was a shame on their front. But this is going to be an interesting one. Miami is very tough to learn to get used to, and this is the very first track I went to when I first played F122, and I tell you what, it was a nightmare getting used to this track. I'll talk about that in a second, but this is the baseline setup that I'm running for most circuits, so pause the video, jot it all down, because that's what I find to be the most comfortable, the most successful for me. We could probably lower the ride height a little bit, but it's a little bit dangerous to do so with bottoming out on curbs. So 3.4 is what I'm leaving it at the moment. And then I just play around with the downforce for each circuit. Obviously, higher downforce circuit, you want to run more downforce. So the baseline for me is kind of like mid-20s front wing, and then early 30s for the rear wing. But anyway, we did that practice program, and we got some underbody damage, which gave us 20 minutes worth of repairs. So I mounted one of the curbs in the Mickey Mouse section part of the circuit, and it meant that we're going to miss out on the rest of the session. I would have really wanted to do a race run there in practice 1 and get it all done in FP1, but we're going to have to carry over into FP2 to get the race program done, to get our stint visuals for the race, just to get our tire wear numbers, to get our fuel burn consumption rates. And we didn't manage to get purple. We failed our third lap because I ran out of ERS. So I only got the green. I did an instant rage quit of retiring from the session. And that was our Friday practice sessions over and done with. 21st in the session, 2.8 seconds away from front running pace. So pace or speed seems to be lacking at this Grand Prix. This is a bit of a power circuit, not so much reliance on downforce, and we've prioritized a car that's good on downforce. So this is going to be a tough one for us. We're also on the limit in terms of our internal combustion engine, so that probably explains a little bit of pace lacking there. So heading into qualifying, I think we're going to have to take a new engine. I think we're almost certainly going to have to take a new engine, because once you get to 50%, you then lose optimal horsepower, and we don't want to be doing that at a place where we're already quite slow. So we're going to take an engine here. It's not going to be an engine penalty. We've still got 3 ICEs to use, but if we take another energy store at some point, then we're going to be dipping into penalty range. So yeah, we're going to have to think about where we're going to take our penalties. Probably Baku if we're still slow, but we'll wait and see. Pace, not good. We'll need to make some setup changes in qualifying, which is not ideal, but we'll give it our best shot. New engine, hopefully it can give us pace. Also, touching on the car livery, the votes were very, very close yesterday when I was checking it. So much so there was literally only 4 or 5 votes in it between black and gold and white and gold. Again, I will leave a link to the straw poll. Only 5,000 people have voted, which is a little bit low. But the straw poll is there, and I've already come up with a livery based on the current one, which is winning. And the actual design that I've chosen, it's not the same design we're running currently. It's a different one, and I tell you what, it looks, or I think it's going to look incredible. So look forward to that, because it might potentially make its debut in the next race, that being in Spain, which will hopefully be tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, qualifying is underway in Saturday, and we go P6 initially. Not many people have set their times. People are still, finding their feet. It seems to be a little bit of a glitch where some front runners don't get a good sector in, and it really costs them track position, at least in their opening run or so. George Russell still down there, 3.6 seconds away from the pace with that newly upgraded Mercedes. That is certainly not representative of his pace. End of the session now, and we're only using 2 sets of tyres. I want to save a set of soft compound tyres always for the race, just in case there's a late safety car or a change of plan. You never know when a fresh set of soft compound tyres might be needed. We do have 4 sets of softs to use for this weekend, but I want to save another one for Q2. That's being awfully optimistic, but we are in P15 at the moment, so we're doing okay. 3 tenths up as we approach the middle sector now, and we are running low downforce setup. I think it's like 19, 25-ish kind of wings, whatever settings I showed you before. So we are sacrificing our speed in Sector 1 to be faster on the straights and hopefully make us more of a threat for actually overtaking and defending. So that's the mantra we're going for, at least this race weekend. Normally, I find that having extra downforce on is crucial in having extra pace or extra speed on this F1 22 game, particularly with these cars that lack downforce anyway. But it seems to be working so far. We are dropping down the order. People are getting times in now, down to P19, so P20. We're 3 tenths up. I hope this lap is good enough, and I hope it's awfully close between us and the midfield runners who are making a charge for the top 15. We're down to 21st place. Verstappen going provisional pole position up to the line. We improved by nearly 5 tenths. Is it good enough for Q2 though? No, it's not. It's P20 on the grid for the Miami Grand Prix, and we're only 2 tenths away from our teammate Oscar Piastri in the safe zone. Oh, that's frustrating. Frustratingly close to a Q2 appearance here at the Miami Grand Prix. Confidence wasn't the highest. This is, at least initially, a weak circuit for me. I've got limited running around here. Maybe a slightly more optimal lap, a little bit more practice, and that 2 tenths is definitely achievable. But it's P20. We're nowhere for the start of the Grand Prix. A few little tweaks to the race, and I think we can still be very competitive. So let's keep our head up.
Welcome to the Magic City. We're here at the Miami International Autodrome, the home of the Hard Rock Stadium, a multi-purpose sports and entertainment hub which has hosted Super Bowls, Baseball World Series, numerous rock concerts, and now, for the first time, Formula One. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 3.36 miles of track around the Hard Rock Stadium, and 19 corners make up the Miami International Autodrome, which will challenge the drivers in a tight wheel-to-wheel race. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Russell, Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, and Kevin Magnussen, Norris, Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and Ricciardo, Joe, Oscar Piastri, Lance Stroll, and Sebastian Vettel, Albon, Benjamin, Tsunoda, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Now I wonder, Anthony Davidson, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, trying to put a bit of pressure on or disrupt things for the leaders?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you got your own race to run, I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
And keep the momentum going we shall. F1 really is a momentum kind of sport. So let's see if we can dig ourselves out of trouble. Everyone seemingly on the mediums again in this race. I'm going to change it up and actually go for the hards, because whenever we switch to hards mid-race, there seems to be a massive issue with just getting them warm. So if we can get the slow warm-up phase out of the way at the start of the race, we have the formation lap to warm up the tires, so that could be a massive benefit for us. So we're going to give it a try. We're already at the back anyway, so it's not like we're going to be getting held up. We might be slow anyway, and we can finish strongly, especially if there's a safety car at the end. So it's all to play for, and we may as well try these strategies while there's not much at risk in a race like this. So we're going to give it a try. You can see it is very, very difficult to warm these tires. Spent most of the formation lap getting them up to temperature, and they're actually getting cold again. So this will be an interesting first half a lap, but you know, the AI are going to be driving a little bit slowly anyway on this start starting lap, so we can take that opportunity to get our slow pace out the way. So we'll see. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the Miami Grand Prix for the first time in career mode. And I was expecting to be last heading into turn 1. Oh, we're not last. We're back up into P19 as we go side by side with Stroll. Albon on our left-hand side. Don't touch the curb on either the left or the right, especially on cold tyres. They can easily catch you out if you ride them too much and take the wrong angle. But we're running with a little bit more front wing in this race. We were running 14 on the front wing, but now it's up to 16. So hopefully that can help deal with the understeer that we're naturally going to get on hard compound tyres on heavy fuel. Don't touch that curb on the right-hand side too much, otherwise the plank, the floor will bottom out on that and can spit you out in all kinds of weird ways. These are the things I had to find out the hard way when I was doing F1 22 for the first time around here. It was such a learning curve, with these cars being so understeery, so easily disturbed by curbs, and a lot of the Miami curbs will chuck you in a barrier if you even look at them the wrong way. Anyway, into the Mickey Mouse section for the first time. We snuck up the inside of Oscar Piastri. It really was car park speeds through there, but we made the most of it up the inside of our teammate, and well, he is showcasing even his straight line speed compared to us. I didn't even, you know what, to be honest, I didn't even feel the need to fight that. I didn't even use overtake on that straight. So maybe, here comes Albon up the inside of not only me, but my teammate as well. My word, the AI of that Williams is good under brakes. We see a yellow flag. People are in the pit lane. Looks like a Mercedes and a Ferrari are in there. And we'll get a replay of that in just a second. But here comes Albon up the inside of my teammate, Oscar Piastri, down into turn 1 with also fighting with Latifi. Oh, and Tsunoda's locked up and gone straight on at turn 1. We saw many mistakes from the drivers in real life at this circuit. So it definitely is possible to lose a lot of time when you just overset the marks into the brakes just a little bit. But here's a replay of the start. This is George Russell in the Mercedes, trying to find a line into turn 1, trying to find some real estate. He finds a Ferrari side pod though, which is not good for his overall running pace. And Lewis Hamilton has lost his front wing. Oh, make that Carlos Sainz as well. So I believe both the Mercedes have lost a bit of wing in this race, but Lewis Hamilton more so, with a completely missing front end plate. And now George Russell is sizing up the move on his teammate down the back straight. Hamilton surely is going to let this one go. No, he's going to fight it into the hairpin, and it turns out to be a little bit of a dive bomb by Lewis. Lewis is coming into the pit lane. George is turning left. The Mercedes are coming together on this opening lap of the Miami Grand Prix, and looks like both of them are heading into the pit lane. What? Oh, they both lost their wing.
What the fuck was he doing? Honestly. Is he a fucking prick or what?
Sorry about the language there. George Russell, of course, not having a filter there, making his thoughts known to the team after that one. Both the Mercedes coming together on this opening lap. These guys are usually the best of friends. They're very cooperative with each other at Mercedes, but completely getting in each other's way at the end of that lap. Toto must be fuming. Live reaction to that incident right there. So Mercedes absolutely imploding in this race, and it's the second race in a row where both Mercedes are coming together and getting significant damage. Oh, Tsunoda out of nowhere with a dive bomb. I think we're gonna have to get a replay of that in a second. This is Nicholas Latifi we're riding on board with, as he's getting overtaken by the AlphaTauri, and wow, it comes out of nowhere. Perhaps I'm not braking hard enough into these corners, or the other teams have brake upgrades that we simply don't have. Wow. That is a difference in pace. I think it's a difference in grip, actually. You're on the hard compound tire. Not as much confidence, not as much grip. So naturally, these things are going to happen. Just checking the vehicle condition with the engineer, and it seems A-OK. All okay. Either way, dive bombs by Latifi heading into the right-hander of turn 1. That's allowing Tsunoda to get away. But yeah, we just seem to be a thorn in everyone's side, just getting in the way on our hard compound tyres. We don't have the pace at this stage. Latifi up the inside, makes a mistake though, misses the apex, and we get the switchback heading into the right-hander. We make a bit of contact. Thankfully, it's wheel-on-wheel contact, and it's very light as well, so no damage done there. We take the inside, we take the move once again. We're very fast into these very slow corners. I guess it makes sense since we're not running much downforce. Downforce not required at pretty much walking pace corners. As again, we're getting lunged by Latifi up the inside into pretty much the last corner. And he's not able to make the move stick. That Williams is very good in a straight line. And conversely, we're very draggy. So we lose a lot of touch. We lose a lot of ground at the back end of big straights. So we're really feeling the effects of that upgrade not making it on today. And this is, oh wow, it's Norris and Ocon basically having a Mercedes moment down there. Lando's in two minds as to whether he wants to go in the pit lane or not. No, he decides to think better of it, because that would have been a dangerous entry of crossing the white line. So that's really awkward for Lando, and it's good in the end that he remembered he couldn't go in the pit lane from that position. And he's going to carry on for another lap. So it's been a messy race, and it's getting messier by the corner. There's my first warning for track limits. It wasn't a corner cut. It was not a corner cut, so I think I'm okay with my sponsor for now. Hopefully they weren't looking. Oh, Christian Horner won't want to be looking at that. It is Max Verstappen out of the Grand Prix, and he was already having a stinker of a day, having that early front wing change after damage on lap 1. So that's another position for us in this race, up to P13. Some people are starting to make stops at this stage. They must obviously be going on to a 2-stop to go from the end from here is not really going to be feasible. So at this stage, we're doing what we can, but that's a bit of a moment there on the curve. But I said if you mount that curve, it can bottom out and chuck you in any direction, and it's killed all of our momentum on this back straight as Latifi and Carlos Sainz gets us on the DRS straight. Again, Ferrari's not having a good day. They're getting caught up in incidents. Sainz was a bit unlucky to lose a bit of his wing on that first lap, and now Latifi getting in our way once again. Us two are just joined at the hip at this point. You know it's a good day. It's a good race when you're battling Nicholas Latifi and getting cut off in the process. What a turn of form, eh? We went from battling the likes of Charles Leclerc last round, nearly challenging for podiums, to now being at the back fighting Latifi for the wooden spoon. It's absolutely lovely. Anyway, Lewis Hamilton is into the pit lane. It was a very short stint there on the soft compound tyres. He's obviously doing a 2-stop today and going on to the hards to finish off this race. Still 20 laps to go. Still a lot that can happen. I'm still banking on that safety car, and I'm hoping that the momentum now for us can turn around and we can start to make some inroads on the next group of cars. Unfortunately, Tsunoda has gapped us by 5 seconds. Such has been the, I guess, the time loss with battling Latifi and having my own incidents, whatever it might be, my lack of pace as well, of course, being an issue. But, we're getting quite deep into... Oh, nice! Nice little sneaky move there up the inside into that long right-hander. Latifi left the door open, and we took that position straight back. But here comes Latifi with a straight-line speed. A very aggressive defensive move there from us. But we keep the position, and I'm just trying to minimize the battling. Latifi is not using his brain in this race. 0 IQ plays, as we're just losing time, just fighting over last place, and that's a massive moment for Latifi. His tyres obviously going off at this point, but tyre wear is not dissuading him from making moves in this race. It's just an awkward formula. We're slow on the straights, fast in the corners. Latifi holds me up when he's in front of me in the slow speed corners, but then when I'm in front of Latifi, I'm getting in his way on the straight. So it's so frustrating, this kind of scenario, being so differently matched in terms of where the cars achieve their pace. If it was a bit more balanced, we'd actually be battling less if we were closely matched on pace on the straights and in the corners. But we just seem to be side by side with each other all the bloody time, and it's killing both of our races, frankly. My teammate, there he is in the midst of the midfield, fighting Aston Martins and Daniel Ricciardo, and he's actually doing pretty well for himself in this race. He's a good 10 seconds up the road. We're going to have to hope for some good pace at the back end of this race on medium compound tyres. That's our only saving grace at this point, as the medium runners are now in for their hard compound tyres. They've gone quite a long way in this race. They're only doing 14 laps on their hards, so looks like mediums are holding on quite well, and that means we can probably switch on to those pretty much now. So we'll wait and see how that goes. We are in the midst of the front runners now fighting a Haas. I can't believe I'm saying I'm fighting a Haas that's a front runner. Last episode I said the Haas's were really fast. Now they're front runners with, who was it? Magnussen? I believe it was Magnussen getting a podium last race in the sprint race. That was absolutely mental. Meanwhile, we've got another retirement in this race. Another Red Bull family, Honda-powered power unit giving up in this race, which fills me with so much confidence that we're going to get to the end. We've had so much suffering in this race, and now I'm hoping it's all going to pay off. I hope and I pray that we're not going to get our third retirement of the season. I've got everything crossed to make sure we get to the end, but at this point the tyres are dead, and we're going to swiftly get off those and onto medium compound tyres. So this back end of the race is going to be telling. No safety car yet. Hopefully we've got miles more pace than those on hards, and I hope we do, because race isn't looking so good. It's going to be close between us and Latifi as we rejoin on the circuit. Good pit stop there. We're absolutely nailing the manual turn in now, so that's lovely to see. Out we go on the circuit, crossing the white line. Hopefully again the sponsor didn't see that one, and we're okay in this race. Only 4 seconds behind Piastri, so somehow in the pit stop phases we've made up so much time. I don't know. Piastri must have just lost a lot of time after the pit stop, or in that realm of having cold tyres, battling potentially. I'm not really too sure, but now there's a real potential here that we can beat our teammate Oscar Piastri in this race, who's getting held up by, surprise, surprise, a Williams. But this one is Albon as they fight side by side, and Oscar makes actually pretty quick work of Alexander Albon there and moves up into 13th place, 12th place, something like that. So these are the guys we're trying to close in on, and we're looking good to do just that as we get our first proper lap in, and it's a 131.4. The following laps were just really good. I was in the groove, and I was just finding more and more pace every lap. The tyre wear almost non-existent. The fuel was just burning off, and there was no real negating pace deficit for the tyres going off, so it was absolutely lovely. I settled into a nice rhythm. We've now caught up to these guys. I'm in the DRS, and I got DRS on that back straight, and look at this personal best lap that I set here. Bang! 1 minute 30.7, so like 7/10 faster than our previous best. And when I've got DRS, it makes such a difference to our overall pace. So I was using a lot of battery to get to this point, to get within slipstream and DRS range, and now we can fully go on the attack with Alexander Albon. So let's see if we can get him on this straight. Now Williams is fast in a straight line. We don't have much battery to play with. We do have DRS, however, unfortunately Albon has DRS as well, so nothing we can do there. Completely depleted battery there. So we're going to have to recharge, recoup, and regroup and go again, unfortunately. So we'll see what we can do. We'll not take too much life out of the tyres while we're sat behind him. Oscar Piastri running away a little bit, almost outside of DRS range of Albon. In fact, he is out of DRS range at this point. Can we get a run on him? Hopefully we can. We're going to save a bit of overtake for the back end of the straight in 7th and 8th gear. So hopefully give us the momentum to draw alongside and go for a dive bomb. We've got the DRS. Albon is isolated here, and we're going to go up the inside into Sector 3. And Albon has no response to that. Up in a P13 for us, and now we are finally clear in this section. I've been sitting behind Albon in this part of the circuit, getting held up so much. Such is our pace advantage through these low-speed corners. So now that we're in clear air, we can make massive inroads on our teammate, and that is exactly what we're doing on this occasion. Out of ERS again. So that's something we're going to have to definitely upgrade in the not too distant future. I'm not sure we can get on anything on in time for Spain. We do need to do that major drag reduction upgrade, which botched up at the start of this episode. Maybe we wait until after Monaco and we target it for Baku. We target, engine power, more drag, and also ERS for that race in an effort to shore up the weaknesses of our car. Anyway, we're taking the line of least resistance as we go up the inside of our teammate. He has a very timely lock-up there, which allows us to sneak through for P12 in the dying laps of this Miami Grand Prix. Only 2 laps to go after this one, and the gap to Zhou Guanyu and Sebastian Vettel is a little bit large, considering the time left in this race. We're not going to give up, though. We're going to keep pressing on and see what we can do in this race, but the tyres are starting to wear out now. They're starting to, they've seen their best by this point, and unfortunately I couldn't really do anything about those guys. There was too much of a margin and too little time to do anything. Charles Leclerc wins the Grand Prix. Ferrari with an absolute stranglehold on this championship at this stage, especially with Red Bull just not able to finish races consistently at the front. Ferrari really running away with this one, especially with Mercedes as well, coming together in crashes every other race. So not ideal for those guys, but a really solid race for us, actually. P20 to P12.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Despite it not being any points, I'm really happy with that recovery after we were down in P20 and battling with Gotifi. To get that close to the points is really solid.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. What do you think it was today, Ants, that gave them the edge over the competition?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on track was: speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Wow, and Fernando Alonso on the podium for Alpine. He's been threatening to do that in real life, and today he takes the spoils of Mercedes and a Ferrari not being on the podium. Max Verstappen having his woes as well, so fair play. Alpine is kind of best of the rest at the moment in F1, both in the game and in real life, and it's good to see Nando on the podium where he deserves to be. It'll be interesting to see what Alpine do with that momentum that they've now got from that race, whether they can kick on with the development race and really put pressure on the top teams. It remains to be seen. Another solid result for Haas and Kevin Magnussen. Alfa Romeo very quick as always. Guan Yu Zhou getting another point. And Valtteri Bottas solidly putting pressure there in the top 5. George Russell, a lap down. Pierre Gasly, DNF, and Max Verstappen, DNF. There's certainly some problems at Red Bull Honda right now with the reliability of our car. I mean, that's performance patch whenever it's going to come, can't come quick enough. Ferrari running away with a championship. Once that change in reliability for Red Bull and Ferrari comes in, we might see a flip in the constructors and the drivers. But for now, Charles Leclerc looking very dominant, 53 points clear of Max Verstappen, who gets nothing in today's Grand Prix. We get displaced by McLaren and Daniel Ricciardo. I think he got P9, so that making the difference in both the drivers and the constructors. But the fact that we've even got points at this stage is a miracle. Unfortunately, we do fail the sponsor target of not cutting a corner. To be fair, I didn't cut a corner technically. I track extended. So I think I'd like to review that one. I want my sponsor to pay out, please. But there we go. That has been today's Grand Prix, the Miami GP for the first time in my team career mode. Pretty chaotic, especially for those at the front of the grid. A really good strategy, hards to mediums. I think that really worked out, and I'm a little bit bemused as to how I was able to claw back so much ground in that second half of the race. We were fighting with Latifi, and then he was kind of nowhere near us after the pit stop, and somehow we were right on Oscar Piastri, despite being 10 seconds back. That's a real weird one. I'm gonna have to dive into the telemetry on that one. But either way, I'm not complaining. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And hopefully you guys can help me get to 700k very, very soon. Again, another reminder about the vote for the livery. I'm sorry to keep banging on about it, but this is the last time I mention it. Next episode, we will potentially see a new livery for the Spanish Grand Prix. There we go. I think that's everything. Thank you for watching. Oh, follow me on Twitch. I think I'm going to do a Twitch stream at some point today, so keep an eye out potentially for that. And another episode of Career Mode tomorrow. All right, we're done. Can't wait for Monaco. Can't wait for the Spanish Grand Prix, and can't wait to see how the development of this team evolves in the not too distant future. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, I'll see you next time.